On today's show, you will learn more about the Youth Advisory Committee in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. The Youth Advisory Committee serves as a conduit that allows the youth in our community to be involved and learn the inner workings of local government.
The Youth Advisory Committee, their mission is to elevate the youth voices and bring those voices to the City Council of City of Rancho Palos Verdes. This is an opportunity for them to also understand the inner workings of local government. So that's the mission, basically elevating their own voices to make their lives better. So these are very smart kids. Let me tell you, they're very active kids. They're very involved and engaged in their community. They need to provide an application that is reviewed by the City Council, and the City Council actually appoints those members to the committee. And they have to provide proof that they're engaged in their community here and that they do a lot of other extracurricular activities. So they have to be very engaged. So they govern themselves, basically. They're the ones that decide what subcommittees are going to create, who is going to be in those subcommittees, and when do they meet with those subcommittees. That is all up to them. And then depending on the goal of every subcommittee, they will go out in the community, participate in city events, community events, have a booth there, and promote the committee there, promote the Youth Advisory Committee.
Today, we will introduce you to the Youth Advisory Committee in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes.
Well, I found out about the Youth Advisory Committee from actually my math teacher. And she was really nice, and she knew that I was kind of like a leader in the Chadwick community. And she was like, hey, you can really be a good voice to the Rancho Palos Verdes community. So she wrote a recommendation for me, and I got introduced to Mayor Cruikshank and some other council members. And from there, it was history. I really like the Youth Advisory Committee. To be honest, I like sharing my voice. I like sharing my perspective on issues that affect us as like teenagers in the community. And I also like putting together events. We have a mental health subcommittee, and we've put together summits. We're putting together fireside chats with mental health professionals. We've gone together as a Youth Advisory Committee to many summits as well. Where we get to meet with other leaders, not only in Rancho Palos Verdes and the Palos Verdes communities, but all over the South Bay. So it's been really interesting to learn from other people in other communities. I think that mental health is very important, and um, it's also underestimated, and it affects a lot of like the academic schedules and people's work on assignments. I also think that AI in education is definitely underestimated as well. We have another subcommittee where we talk about how we can kind of like input our perspective in the academic subjects. And one of the topics we talk about is AI and how we can input artificial intelligence into the teachings at the public schools, which I think is very important and which I think the future is at. I think, you know, the first thing of like being part of the youth advisory committee is obviously meeting new people and the different perspectives from the youth community, but it's also just learning how like the government works, right, from a city level, because at the city level that's where a lot of kind of like the local stuff gets done, and that's very impactful, especially with the landslides that are happening in our community and getting federal funds for that. We got to learn a lot about like how the intricacies of that work and applying for those federal grants. So I found that very interesting and fascinating. And I mean, there's so many different topics, but I just can't wait. We have a couple kids that are in middle school, so we get in a couple kids that are seniors. So we get a wide range of perspectives, which I find very fascinating. And it's not all from like Peninsula High School, Palos Verdes High School, but also from Chadwick too, right? Which is great because we don't only want public school kids, we also want private school kids from another part of Rancho Palos Verdes. So it's an amazing experience, and I'm really sad that next year will be my last year, and I'll have to I'll have to give up my spot.
I moved to PV and America as a freshman in high school, and I wanted to get to know more about the location I was living in, things like that. So one day I was scrolling through the city website and I found this opportunity. So as I became a rising junior, I applied to the YAC. I'd say the most interesting part is getting to work together with other high schoolers from schools like PV and Penn, and like working together every month to do projects. For example, one project I'm involved in is the mental health committee, where we are working together right now to organize a citywide mental health event. So prior to joining this group, I didn't really have much experience in like getting to know the city government and things like that. I feel like after I joined, I got to know more about PV and how the government of PV works, and also being able to collaborate with other fellow students who are interested in like PV's government to work together.
I heard about the opportunity to get involved with the city, as I had always wanted to get involved with the city, and my mom had saw as listing that they were creating a new youth advisory committee, and I figured that I thought that I'd have a good time being in that role, and I also wanted to experience it. I think that the most interesting part of this is being able to make decisions that truly affect the youth in our community, from taking part of different events and also helping different legislative pieces. I think that's been the most important and influential part for me. What I've learned about city government that I didn't know before joining YAC was how influential every single person is in the process. From the people that are protesting, or the people that really are just talking to the different representatives, and also to the different people in the city about different subjects, to the people actually implementing and thinking of the legislation. It takes everyone for all the different pieces of our government to function, and that's something I'd never truly valued before. This experience has made me want to remain active in my government in so many different ways, from the different people I've met and to the different things I've learned through this experience. It's something that I'll keep with me for the rest of my life, and I think that being able to, even if it's not a specific role, just being able to be proactive and helpful in my city, I think is really important and something I've learned to value from this experience.
So I got involved with YAC because I first did the RPV Leadership Academy and I learned about all the different councils that we had a part of the city. And then I applied and joined the council. I think that the most interesting part about being in the council is being able to create our ideas and turn it into events and things that we want to do. I learned that there's like a lot of different processes and like a lot of thought behind like events that may seem like really easy to do. I think this opportunity has really showed me something, and I really want to go into policy because of the experiences that I've had as a part of this council.
So I was actually flipping through Rancho Palos Verdes magazine, and I came over the YAC, and I thought it'd be a very cool opportunity to get more integrated with my community. And so there I applied, and then I got in, and it's been a journey ever since. There's a lot that goes in that people don't know about behind the scenes that makes the city function correctly and how we know it. And I think being involved in those processes is a really interesting and really informative as well. I think being involved with the YIC definitely opened a door for me in the politic world, or even the government world. And I think before I wasn't so open to it, but now being in the YIC, having the experiences I do with the Youth Advisory Committee, it definitely made me a lot more interested in the government, the whole world.
So, over the summer, I met this guy named Andrew, and he was like an SAT tutor. I was doing SAT with one of my buddies, and he told me about this, and I thought it was such a cool opportunity to become involved with, my local community. I think there's a lot to how the community operates and functions that kind of goes behind the scenes that the average civilian is not aware of. So I think um, getting the opportunity to see into how the government of my local community functions and see what's actually happening behind the stage. I think that the biggest thing was I was a little nervous coming to this because I thought that they were like these very revered people, that it was kind of like such this power hierarchy, but they turned out to be just really nice people that just wanted to get to know me and were just happy that I was becoming involved in the community. So this has been a really cool opportunity that has definitely ignited or just like helped fuel my my love for policy and government.
I first learned about Yak through my email. My mom actually found the email when the very first time the Youth Advisory Committee was um, being founded, which was in like fall of 2023, and I actually applied the same day that the application was due, and I got in. So it's really interesting because we get to work with people in government and work directly with the city council, and it's like really fun. We do things with the e-bike with our e-bike subcommittee. We have multiple subcommittees. We actually have 8, and um, we're still adding more, and it's really fun to be able to do a lot of different things within the city, such as participating in the Whale of the Day. And this year I became the chair, which is really has been a great experience in getting to know other parts of the city. So as chair, I have to oversee all of our subcommittees and check in each month, and also oversee with emails with our partners and other people that we work with at the city. I have to plan the events that are upcoming, and Whale of the Day is a really big event that we're working on, so I have to organize all the people that are attending and make sure that we have everyone coming at certain time slots. So it's a really fun, it's a really nice job to have, but there's also a lot of things that come with it. I learned that there's a lot of rules and things that you can't do, such as with social media. That was a really big part of when I first joined the YC. I was really surprised about how there's a lot of regulations that you can't post something on social media, but you can post other things. Actually a senior, so I'm going to college, and my major is kind of I want to do political science and also work in the government, specifically with drug development. That's my major that I applied to, but I also want to minor in political science. So I do want to have a future in government.
I applied, I think the August of my junior year, and I actually didn't initially get in, but then later on in the year a spot opened up and I reapplied and I was accepted, and now I'm the vice chair. I help run the meetings with my chair, Kieran, and I'm also part of a few subcommittees. Most of our work in the Youth Advisory Council happens in those subcommittees. So I'm the chair of the Environmental Outreach Subcommittee, and that's where I put most of my effort, and I organize meetings and come up with ideas. That's where I do most of my work, I'd say. I think the most interesting part is probably you're able to see an idea from the ground up. So you're able to come up with an idea with your peers in a specific subcommittee. It could be like mental health related, environmental related, and you're able to work with others, work with Miss June and Miss Pujadas to maybe set up an event or spread more awareness about that issue. And you can really see like the impact you're making as part of the Youth Advisory Council, because you're able to work with people in the city, in Rancho Palos Verdes, and you have a lot of support from the city as well. So that's really cool to me. I didn't know there were so many like specific rules concerning the Youth Advisory Council before I joined. Like, I didn't know there were rules about like quotas you have to meet before starting a meeting. There are certain things you can't do, such as we can't have like a group chat all together because that would violate the Brown Act. Just like little things about how the government works that manifests when you're trying to create a project or work on a specific event or something like that. Yeah. I've been interested in pursuing government and maybe politics and law since before I joined the YAC, but I think being part of this initiative has definitely made me more interested because I can see how I can personally make an impact in my community.
I kind of saw it on the daily bulletin for our school, and I thought it was really interesting, so I reached out, and they sent me an email. They said there was a form, so I filled it out, and then I took an interview, and then I got accepted. I just like the idea of being able to make an impact for the community that I just live in and I grew up in. I think that's really powerful. It's just a lot of like government like rules and processes that you have to go through that I didn't really think that there were. It definitely like opened my eyes to like how hard being in like government is. Yeah, so when we entered, they introduced all the different committees to us, and they proposed for us to join whatever committees we wanted to, and we were able to join. Like personally, I joined the e-bike subcommittee. I thought that was something that spoke to me, so I joined. I'm most looking forward to, we're doing a clothing drive soon, so we're going to be handing out clothes, and it's going to be really fun. And I feel like I definitely want to probably go into government.
I heard about it at my school, Chadwick, from one of my teachers, and then also Mattia was in it, so I sort of heard about it through him. And yeah, then I just applied. I found that to make impact, you sort of just need to take initiative. I realized that a lot of what we do in the YAC is very anybody could do, but just because we're taking initiative and really standing out for our community, that's sort of what makes the impact that we do make. Yeah, I definitely think that it's very interesting to see what else I can do with my time, because I think a lot of people sort of see high school as oh, I'm just gonna hang out with my friends, or I'm just going to do homework. But I think that being able to be involved with something like the YAC has allowed me to even make new friends, and also feel like my day has meaning when I leave the room or even when I'm at home. So I'm on the Education and Outreach Committee, which works to I guess bring more educational resources to youth. And currently we're working on trying to see if maybe some high school graduations can be recorded, and if we can write a newsletter. And then I'm also on the Environmental Outreach Committee, and we're planning a home hardening competition. And then also on the Safety and Preparedness Committee. So yeah, those three. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe I can find ways to create new subcommittees or partner with other cities in the South Bay. And I definitely think it's something I'd like to continue on in the future.
Well, I first found out about the Youth Advisory Committee at Hess Park. I just happened to be in the building and I saw a flyer for an upcoming meeting. And I was in middle school at the time, so when I was a freshman in high school, I applied. Well, I think the YSC was a great opportunity to bridge the gap between RPV's youth and also the local government. I think it's a great opportunity because we have advisors and employees from the local government, and they provide assistance on how we're best able to reach out. So sometimes we have outreach events where we talk to students and we're able to make their concerns, into reality with the help of subcommittee leads and heads. Currently, I am the head of the mental health subcommittee. Originally, we founded the mental health subcommittee to, address the concerns that students have over maybe peer pressure, academic pressure, given that RPVA has been known for being an academic area that focuses heavily on education. And while that was an original concern and still continues to be a concern, I've learned that there isn't this one universal experience that my peers have. Some may have stress from having to have a job and provide for their families. Some have family responsibilities. So just, having a larger and broader experience and understanding of the students in my community. I think civic engagement, understanding the people around you, is a great skill. I've been learning a lot from representing other people, and also just, skills that are good on the job, such as organizing and planning events and reaching and sending out emails. For instance, last year I sent an email to, the Senate advising and showing support and approval for a bill that allows for state funding to be used for landslide relief. But even if you don't go to these events, it is possible to, talk to members of your community, whether at school or in after-school events.
There are many events in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes that the Youth Advisory Committee participates in. Recently, they had a booth and participated at Whale of the Day.
The purpose of Whale of the Day for us is just to bring more awareness about what the YAC is, and to make our community feel like they're heard and that they have a voice. So we're going to be having some fun games, fun activities, some fun prizes, and hopefully people enjoy it.
So the Youth Advisory Committee is a committee of youth who kind of just work with the city and advise them on things that we can improve on with the city. Yeah, so today we have a spin the wheel game to educate some people about just RPV trivia and also the Emergency Preparedness Committee. We also have some giveaways. We have an idea board so that people can tell us what they want to improve in the city. And then we're also doing a fun squishy of balloons and flour. I learned all about the city and how much thought goes behind all the decisions we make and all the events that we plan.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you've learned more about the Youth Advisory Committee, and if you would be interested in joining the committee, go to our website at rpvca.gov.